why I wanted you to meet Esmeralda, because when I met her, oh my God. So I met her at a different company, but
Right.
then we ended up having lunch the other day.
Yes.
And she was telling me her story. And I thought, man, what we believe in, like my book, The Queen of Now, everything is about empowering women.
Mhm.
And she was telling me her story. And it was really like, man, that was dear to my heart because of what my husband went through with his son. So my husband lost his son due to suicide.
Mhm.
He was 12 years old. You lost a son and he was
Yes.
19.
My son was 19 and he had an accident. His best friend was the one driving, and they were out, they were young, out partying pretty much. They went to go pick up a female that he knew.
Mm-hmm.
I never met her, but he did that, they were talking, and then on his way back home, he didn't make it. He was only about 15 minutes away from the house. So there was a curve. The car, they were speeding. His friend fell asleep on the wheel. The car hit a pipe because it was like through the ranchos, actually back here by Berino. It hit the pipe, and then the car flipped over, it hit a tree, and my son died instantly because he was not wearing a seatbelt.
Oh.
He was not wearing a seatbelt, so my son got ejected through the back of the car. So half his body was outside. It was an instant death. I'm glad that I later on that I found out that he did not suffer at all. The way they explained it to me was like he hit his temple over here. So it was like como cuando agarran un huevo, like an egg, and they shake it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened to him. And because even it took about a week for me to get his body, because I had to send to Albuquerque to get it back. And you can still see like when in the casket, the liquid and everything.
Right.
But that's how it came to be.
I didn't, yeah, and you didn't get into so much detail,
No,
but
I didn't.
and I'm being a chismosa. I'm like, did the friend live? His best friend?
Yes, actually, when everything happened so instantly, and it was like, that day is very sacred for me. My grandfather passed away that same day, that morning. So that morning that I had driven to my aunt's house because I wanted to go see my grandmother and see we were going to go to the cemetery. Little did I know that I was going to get the worst call ever that I never, I would never, ever imagined I would get. The crazy part about it all is that ever since he was very young, he was always about life. When he was 2, same things. He got a fever, it shoot up. También, like he was gone for maybe 5 minutes, but then my dad gave him mouth to mouth, and then everything, he was fine. He came back. That was in his first. That wasn't his first.
Near death experience.
Yes, the second time.
Wow.
The second time, he was already in grade school, and he had this tremendous upset stomach where he was dehydrating so much. We didn't know how to, but he just kept going. He just kept going. But he was so sick that even the doctor said, we wouldn't have brought him, like he would have passed. And then transitioning to that. So I always had that.
He's been fighting since day one, huh?
He has. He's a trooper, that kid. But
what is his name?
His name is Pedro Delgadillo. My PD. I call him PD. My PD.
So her telling me this story, this is why I thought, this was what, 3 years ago?
Yes, 3 years ago.
3 years ago. And then she's talking to me about but I know my son was borrowed, and I know that everything always works out. And I'm listening to her like,
yeah, because not a
lot of people would act that way. So I'm like, she has to tell her story, because if this powerful woman, she's a business owner, but if this woman that lost her son is still standing and still telling everybody how great life can be and how amazing life can be.
And that is amazing, because if
what the heck?
If I said something like that, people were going to tell me, you don't know
you're
what
crazy.
It feels like.
They tell you
you're crazy and you don't know what it feels like. But coming from you who lived it and can still say like, hey, you know what? I understood he was borrowed, but that's different.
But you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm a mom that lost my child and another mom lost her child. We know the empty feeling, but we still feel very different.
Yes.
But it's a feeling very different. You can't explain. There's no words. We just feel it. We just know the absence. We understand, but I'm not going to understand her pain. You know, I understand the emptiness.
Yes.
And I totally comprehend where she's going and have to give her that space. But yet it's something we connect with each other.
Yes.
But it's never the same saying like, oh, I know exactly what you're feeling. No, my son was different than her son, her daughter.
The relationship,
the ties, whatever it is that they're going to. But at the end of the day, when stuff like this happens, it's stuff we have no control over. And it's something that people forget. People forget this so much. And this is why I'm so grateful that I got to have God in my life. And God prepared me for this before it even happened. But I did not know this was going to be it. Because even like a few months before, I remember calling my mom and I was so worried about my son because I saw my son kind of like was, bless you. He was kind of like, andaba, like a few months before, él andaba así, like, no sabía ni qué, hasta un día se levantó y me dice, Mom, I think God's trying to tell me something. Le digo, pues haz caso. Le digo, haz caso, cabrón, you know? Like, and he's just like, yeah, Mom, I'm going to start doing this. He's like, you'll see. And I'm like, okay, pues yeah. I was like, whatever you do, just tell me. Just tell me. Like, and I, you know, he went back to school. He started doing everything. I mean, it was just like, yo no más? Okay, I estoy.
Yes, whatever. The support.
And it's amazing that feeling that you have when you have that connection. So therefore, I it's not that I feel privileged, but like I was telling you that day and I said, what people don't understand, moms that go through this, it doesn't happen just to anybody. You're stronger than you believe that.
Right.
Because who is a perfect example? And I told you, I was like, la Madre de Dios, de Jesucristo, la Virgen María, perdió a su hijo. ¿Quién más va a tener ese privilegio? Who else is going to have that privilege to feel that? I mean, I can understand that feeling of seeing how her son died in pain. And I'm like, oh, and I never thought and you know, me brought this up, I was like, that would be my biggest fear. That would be my biggest fear. I wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
I thought, honestly, like if that happened to me, I'll go crazy. But no, I didn't. And the way that this has helped me in so many ways is that I celebrate him. I celebrate his life. I celebrate the love. I celebrate the funny things. I celebrate even cuando me pasaba corajes. Porque de todos mis hijos eran más traviesos. Iba y me cocoreaba. Even like whatever.
And you talk about it at home. It's not like, don't talk about him.
Oh, no.
It's like he's there.
Your oldest?
No. My oldest is 23. For my oldest, it's a little bit harder. They were always like this. So me as a mom, I've kind of had to, you know, I did not have time to grieve, honestly. Like I didn't. After it happened 2 weeks later, went back to school, went back to work, back to the office, get everything together, get my kids where they're going. I do regret that because I kind of taught my kids to be strong and be like, hey, we got to keep going, you know? And now I'm kind of like in the process, like, okay, you need to cry. We need to let this, there's a process. But I did teach them to be strong and kind of let them go through it too. Now they're doing it all their own way. But and I was telling you the examples that I got a few months after my son passed. I was telling Victoria because she was telling me how much her husband struggles sometimes with the regret and the remorse or could have, should have, would have. And I said, no, there's nothing that we could have done. There's nothing what we would have wanted to do. Sometimes things happen, but we don't realize that they're some of our biggest masters in this life because they're either going to make us or break us.
Yes.
So
that's how my husband felt. He felt like he was, I mean, there was nothing else that it was going to break him after that. And even now, you know, because it's hard for him. And I mean, I see him, I can only imagine the mom, you know, because everybody is so different. You know, that was, she
y yo
found
que te
him.
dije, hay que rezar por ella because
Yes, she did tell me, mijo, reza por ella,
like,
because that's
for her.
painful.
And sometimes that, like the examples I gave you, those ladies that I had different clients come in that same year. And I was telling Victoria, I was like, God showed me different stages of grief with different moms.
Yes.
Different moms. Kind of to help me realize, like, look, there's a process. Learn from this. Listen. All we're going to do is listen.
Yeah, and you do have to, and honestly, you helped me that day because, I mean, stop judging everybody's process because for me, and because I do all kinds of therapies, but for me, when that happened, and when I see her, you know, now, and this was way back in the day. Now I'm learning because I really believe that everything and everybody's a mirror to you. So I remember just being so upset, like, why is she doing this? Why does she act this way? Why is she whatever it is that she was doing, I couldn't, no me entraba en la cabeza, like, you just lost your son. What are you doing? Now, thank you for sharing that with me, because that did, when we were having lunch that day, something clicked where I'm like, a ti que te importa? That's the way she grieves. It's none of your business. So here I am talking about, oh my God, my book and clean up, and we're about helping women. But yeah, when it's in front of you and there's a lot of animosity and a lot of like anger towards both sides, that's when it counts.
Yeah.
You know, right now that you tell me, like, when you just reminded me again, like, pray for her. And I'm like, oh yeah, oh, I do need to pray for her. But that's when it counts.
Yes.
Like, regardless if we don't have a relationship or we don't like each
And
other.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It
She's a
doesn't.
woman.
Yes. Like me with
Oh
my
my
kids.
God, is that on that? Wow.
Like me with the father of my kids, at first I was so angry at him. I didn't blame him. I was angry at the fact that he wasn't there by my side to help me. Like I was like, he was, and I understand now his grief, how he dealt with it.
Yes.
And that's him. And like I told you, I just have to pray for him and I had to understand. But at first it was like, how did you leave me to? He took it upon himself. My parents were driving us to go, you know, at the end of the day, I thank my friend Carla Soto, because the first person I called was her, and she was about to leave, and she's like, I don't know, she's like, my trip was like, I want to be here for you. And I said, no, don't worry. But I was crying in his room, and I remember I was like, I don't want to eat, I don't want nothing.
Yeah.
And my friend was there for me, and she went and got me snacks, everything that I could imagine how it was for her just to see me the way I was. And I was like, I'm gonna cry because she was amazing. I'm so grateful for that. She literally got me from there when everybody was out the room, and she's like, look. And my kids were just pacing back and forth. They did not know. Their dad was outside crying and just feeling guilt. He was feeling guilty, all this stuff. And then I'm over here kind of understanding, like, what? Like, how? What? When? He was just here, like, why didn't I say bye? Why didn't I this? Like, and all these mixed feelings. And that's when she told me, she's like, look, my kids are back and forth. And she's like, your little one's lost. She doesn't know to cry, what to do. She's like, she needs her mom. She's like, you are their pillar. She's like, I know as hard as it sounds. She's like, but you need to think of what you want to do. And I told her, no, my parents are going to do it. She's like, don't do that. She's like, don't do that. My aunt did that, and now she regrets that she didn't do coulda, shoulda,
For the
woulda
services?
for the service.
To do
Yes.
the services. So So again, she came into my life, and I truly believe the biggest reason you came into my life is because you're showing me how I need to have grace for this woman.
And this is where I'm going. So, and like I said, I was angry too, like your son, so I ended up, the first time we made appointments and I called the different cemeteries and started, because I knew I only had 7 days and they were going to bring him from Albuquerque. So we were in Texas. I knew the body had to be transferred.
Mm-hmm.
So then at this point, my parents took us, and he literally took it upon himself to yell at me, I hate you. Why are you making me go through this? And I looked at him and I said, I lost my son too.
Right.
And I was so angry because all he cared about was to drink. He went down the path of alcohol and drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way of him victimizing and grieving and whatever it is, that's on him. And all I do is pray for him. For him to find
Because
his way.
everybody has their own
way.
way. Everybody. But again, Gabby, this is the biggest reason because, and I told Gabby this morning, I said, you're going to love her because what you went through, like, that's why I told her she has to have 10 minutes to speak and tell her story in a short way, but people need to start following you so you can start telling them how you dealt with it. Mm-hmm. So that's why actually I invited you so we can have our meeting about the event. Like, for example, your 10 minutes, what you're going to do. She's going to go through it because this is our third annual event. I'm excited about it. But she has like a job now.
Oh my God, you have a job.
So I don't get to
curse word, the big curse word, the job.
Oh, you're
that job thing. So I don't see her all day. We get to do this after work or, on a Saturday. So that's why we're like, okay, let's start planning. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Because I want you to be 100% involved. That way, exactly.
But the great part is that you still give yourself time to be with your mom. that's so important. That's so important to do that.
I mean, she
And
made
that-
me late this morning, pero bueno.
And that was what
vamos a
was-
hablar de eso.
That was what it was so important. She called me immediately and told me, you need to meet Esmeralda. You're gonna love her story. You know, I like to meet because I go off energies. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
You know, and if our goal is to bring in 300 women to the event, and I just feel like
100 plus.
300
Yes.
plus.
Let's
But
not
I-
limit our energy. Let's not limit.
I just feel like it also is a big responsibility. If I'm gonna expose 300 plus
Yes.
women,
Yes.
it has to be people who are gonna come and do well for them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that is the idea of Queen Up Now, is to expose them to all the information, and then they can tap into whatever they want, because there's gonna be
Yes.
different kinds.
Yeah.
Just the way there's different healings, there's different ways of grieving, there's different ways
Yeah.
of learning,
Healing,
there's everything. That's why we try to bring in different speakers, and I appreciate that you shared a little bit of your story. I know there's much more,
Oh yeah, there's so
and
much
you'll
more.
have that data, for us to hear the rest of it on Queen Up Now. But
I'm going to tell you, she's like, when it comes to the event, like when you're done, she's going to start playing music and be like, okay, because she's
Yeah.
very, very structured.
like at the Oscars.
Yeah. But
Because
she's
we
really,
have to.
we have
we have
to.
to.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
I had
yeah.
to learn the hard way. You know,
Yes.
on our first event, we learned the hard way. We were overtime, and not just that, we do it on a Thursday, because, and this was my idea. We're taking in others, because some people said, please do it on a Saturday. It works better. But I've had more people say during the week, because they're still kind of like in work mode.
Yes.
Right.
And then the weekend, there's a lot of sports. There's a lot of this. Your
Yes.
kids come
Mom mode.
For me, the weekend, that's my family time.
Right.
It is, because, mine's a whole chaotic mess too, but weekends is when we get together.
Yeah, that's true.
But we are taking into consideration all the other women who have told us, please do it on Saturday. So eventually we'll do that, for them. So time is very important. Where we say we're going to start at 5, we're going to finish at 10, we need to be done by 10.
Right.
So, and I learned the hard way the first one. Some of my
That's the only way to
speakers
learn, the
went
hard
on.
way.
Yes.
I mean, there's no way. You have these lessons that come to us, no matter how they come. You have to learn the hard way. If something doesn't happen, you're not going to know what to do. If it's so easy, then you're just going to keep doing it, but you're not going to know what you're doing right or wrong.
We need challenges.
So yes, so if it's hard, okay, now
So
this
let's
happened, I'll
go through
learn.
the thing, just so you can tell us how we're gonna get started, kind of like from 5 to 5:30. I told you yesterday, I have an idea of bringing in like the girl. I reached out to her
That's
and
what she tells you.
see what she says. Maybe because Jaya's gonna be back and Jaya does the
Dancing.
so I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask her, because I want from 5 to 6. We have vendors. There's gonna be women networking, but I would love for them to see something
different
like
stuff. Yes. Because every year we want to get better. We haven't had that. That's a great
I actually
idea.
got that idea from Ruben.
Like a
Ruben
meet and greet?
Alvarez.
Are you going to have like a meet and greet before the event?
So the doors are going to open at 5, and we
Okay.
bring in vendors. Why we bring in vendors is because we want to give opportunity to all the girls, entrepreneurs who are starting their, more of like the ones that sell the tumblers, the t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's really what I want. The ones that sell their, that are in MLMs,
Mhm.
they come in and we give them their hour to do what they have to do and sell. I've asked previous ones and they told me we do well at your event. So I'm like, great, we'll continue to give this to you guys. So from 5 to 5:45, they get to mingle. We offer them a little snack, not too, it's not a meal, but we'll have something, because some women
Hors
are coming
d'oeuvres,
straight
yeah.
from work.
Yes.
So we give them a drink, a bag of chips, whatever, cupcakes. So they get to do all that. At 5:45, show starts. I will start asking everybody to get back to their seats. The way we do that is by telling them that there are chairs and there are going to be prizes under the chairs. So everybody wants to get back to their chairs to see
Right.
if there's anything under theirs. So right at 6, we start. Our first speaker will come in, which will be Miss Lorena Alvarez. Yes, right? I'm saying that.
I think we need to do a story.
And then for her, how to cope and coach through that.
Yes. So we need to do story, because Erin's gonna be,
Well,
because we gotta get, this is low, Lorena's low high, and then
that's
I
what
don't
we're
know
gonna
how we're gonna do.
Because
Okay.
so we have a theme. The theme is prepare for 2025. So
Right.
that's why your story. It's because that's a dip. That's a big. I'm still processing your story right now. That's a lot. To carry and to have and even to share it is. I can see that you've already worked through a lot of it and you're able to share. So
I'm telling you
free and
that
openly.
I am very grateful because I did get prepared for this spiritually, energetically, emotionally, like for it before it came.
That's what happened to Edgar. God knows what he's doing.
Like that's why. So that day we'll decide if you're gonna go first or Lorena, because hers is gonna. It's kind of the same. So we'll do that. If you can, you'll tell your story, but then you'll close out with, "But look, I'm still standing here." Like
Yes.
it was
Yes.
hard.
Are you guys-
It was hard as
Are
heck.
you guys gonna want me to do like I would like to put pictures of the slideshow. Like this is how strong this is.
Let me find out about the slideshow. Because I don't know if we have.
We don't know how to use it actually.
No. It's not the using. I don't know if the hall is providing
Equipped.
yeah, equipped for it. I'm not sure, but I'll ask. And if it is, then yeah.
But I'm
we'll
telling
let
you,
you
this
do
is
your
because
thing.
that's what I want for women. They hear your story y todavía estás en pie. You're still 100%, of course, with your pain, but you're still going strong. Like that is like a true queen.
And you know what? I don't see it as pain because pain is something negative. I see it as a transitioning. I see it as me transitioning on a certain emotion.
Yeah.
But it's something that is my strength.
Yeah. But most people see that as pain.
Yes.
And that's what you're there to show them, like, and tell them. You know what I mean? Because if you tell somebody that just lost their son, it's not pain. It's a transition. They're going to be like, excuse me?
Like I'm hurting. I
It
get
hurt.
that.
Yeah. So
I get
it's like, so I think that it's going to work out perfect. So we're going to open 5 p.m., 5 to 5:45, the mingle. I'm going to see if we can get girls dancing because we have a friend, Jaya, does, what kind of,
Is it not belly dancing or is
no,
that's awesome.
belly dance, something like that, but
Oh my
she
goodness, I cannot
moves her
believe-
body and her energy
That's her
and her
healing.
personality. Yes, that's a lot of healing she does there. So I'm gonna ask her, si no la otra muchacha, the doctor, prizes. We give tons of prizes, like
Yes.
$1,000 cash giveaway.
That's at the end. That's our grand prize. But throughout, we try to bring in everything, from massages to nails to lashes, just stuff which it's not the most important thing, but some women just
helps.
But
cannot.
you know what? It's people don't understand that the simplest thing, like our hands, honestly, we have so much in them. What do you think? Like each fingerprint is so different. And I learned this. So our hands are healing. So anything that touches, we pick up those energies. That's why there's so much cleansing. De que se sacuden.
Yes.
There's the essence, your sprays, everything.
Yes.
Because of
Speaking of,
sorry, guys. Sorry. She's like, she did not just bring up the spray.
No.
I love it.
but yeah, so things like that. I mean, like, nomás es un masaje. Sí, pero un masaje, porque uno tiene el lado personal y el lado profesional. Professional and, what's it called? Professional and personal. So of course, sometimes we're a lot heavier here. And so little things like that for even just women, we do so much and carry so much.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't even know what we're carrying. Y para que alguien más se lo quite, pues quítenmelo.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yes.
I love that you believe in this. So that's where we're at with this. And also the stress, it's been a little stressful for me, more stressful this year because the first year and second year, girl, I just show up to my event. Like
You did the rest.
seriously. She does everything. Y ahorita que she has a
Why did you get
job.
a job?
So ahora I'm like,
But in my defense of the job, I'm a big believer that universe, God, places us in the
Yes.
places we're supposed to be. And I know I'm supposed to be there right now. I know I'm not there for a long time.
Yeah.
And once I receive what I'm supposed to learn there, then I can move along. It itches at me. Don't get me wrong, especially when I see them and they're doing all the cleanup. Now it irks me. 'Cause I'm
who's
like,
they? Hold on, who's they?
well, you and
Who's they doing the queen? Because I'm actually the one doing the queen. No, Arlette helps me too. She does. She anda ahorita at an event. She's at an event and she has my banners. and
She's
everything. So
amazing.
she
I love
does.
Arlette.
She does.
So it does, and there's moments where I'm like, I just want to quit. But there's a part of which I think if it would have been any other job, I would have been gone. Like literally, I know it. So I started working at a nursing home.
Okay.
Okay, they took me there. Why? I absolutely don't know why. Well, I do know why. There's a few reasons, but now there's even that attached. Like there's just something there, for them to tell you, like,
yeah.
you won't be here tomorrow. I'm like, no, I'll see you Monday. I'll see you here on Monday. They're all around my
Well,
desk.
they love her.
They all
because
sit
of
there
her
around my desk.
You know, the
personality.
crazy part is when they get to that age, they're children, but yet they have so much,
So much knowledge.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh,
The
my-
wisdom.
I love
they
it. I
carry.
just sit there and I'm like, just fill me up. Like they think I'm doing them and they don't know how much
They don't understand. Yeah.
they're filling me up.
So while she's at her job, enjoying it, loving
and getting
all the,
filled.
Getting
the
more
older
knowledge.
people and everybody
like, I'm more
telling her
knowledgeable
how
than
great
you.
she is, I'm over there with the flyers and
So I'm like,
so I'm not used to this, okay? So I'm like, okay, yesterday, and I think my husband and I, porque Edgar's like, he's feeling it. Because, and
That's
we're,
good.
well, not just that, we're actually feeling it together, porque ayer, he was acting out, like,
Mira.
yeah, right. Yesterday
Yeah.
we were at my mom's because I'm staying at my mom's because our house isn't ready.
She's
So
homeless.
I'm
my gosh.
homeless. So I'm telling him, hurry up, babe. And yesterday he said, I need more money to finish the house. He goes, you know, well, figure it out. And he was like, you should have seen his face. And I was like, we're both very stressed right now,
yeah.
you know, because of our house. We don't have, I have stuff at his mom's.
Because there's no
stuff at my mom's.
stability.
Yeah.
It's just
There
kind of everywhere.
is nothing there. So ahorita he's like, oh, and I'm like, blocking everything. You know,
They were, you
bájale,
should have seen them. It was like, they were throwing each
No,
other
ahora
darts.
boxing, vámonos, vámonos.
But it's super cute porque nos echamos, pero así. ¿Y tú qué? You know,
But you
I
always,
tit for tat.
but you always find the way to like balance it back.
I
If
have
it was,
to
if it
calm
was
him
for
down.
Edgar, I feel like, because I feel like me and him have a very similar personality. So I understand him, you know, I do. I'm like, Edgar, if there's someone who understands you, it's like I came out of her. I know what it feels like, but you got to deal with her. So I know. Like it's a win-win, right? Because there's balance. But I look at him and I'm like, just run.
Then no más.
you still have a chance to
I
run.
still have a chance to run though. But I see him and my mom's always really good at like, cause they were at it. Like they were. It was cute. But ella viene by like, okay, but give me a kiss. And Edgar looks at her like, it was
No, le
that's
digo,
funny.
kiss my hand, baby. I
Oh, yeah,
love
you're-
you.
she was having
Because I have to make it fun at that moment for me. It's not even for him, and I need to calm his spirit down because the old version of Victoria, that happened
Quieren
yesterday.
hacer karate.
Oh, no, bro. It would have been like fighting for 2 weeks. And why did you say this? Y estás bien, ta, 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 ta. That wouldn't have
You
been
said
fun.
just the keyword right now. It's for me. The same as I told you when to pray for her. It's for you.
Yes.
Same thing right now when they get it's for you. It's for your
Yes.
peace. That's what people don't understand. Like a lot of things is like it's for us.
Yeah.
It's for me.
Well, everything
Yes.
is for you.
It's for
See,
me.
no, I'm going to be fighting with him. Y él al rato como si nada. And I'm like, no, I got to change. This whole scenery, I got to change it right now. And you know what? Also, because for me, it's so important because they saw like the old version of Victoria. And I want my kids, I mean, she's 37, my other daughter's 26. I want them to see that version of Victoria where I'm not fighting with my husband like, tú es tu culpa, tú eres un menso, eres blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, hey, they're watching you.
Yes.
Which has been confusing at the time. I'm not gonna lie, because we were taught that, and it's not that you were taught
that
because it was,
Yeah.
but it was something. It was not. We were raised independent women, and then my mom was raised by an independent aunt too. I mean, we are all women. We're
Yes.
we men. It was like a. Oh,
You're
wanna
lucky
you
to
want to
be
give
here.
an opinion? Okay, go ahead. What did you want? But at the end, so that it wasn't that it was like no se nos dijo like tú mandas. No, but by what I would see, it was like
Yes.
no, the women are the ones that we do everything.
Oh my God,
See,
you're just.
And now I'm having to, because I was married once,
Uh-huh.
and obviously I'm not there anymore. So you can imagine it didn't work because, and now in my now current, marriage, and I see my mom, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not regretting it, but I just can see now where I'm like,
The difference.
whoa, if maybe I wouldn't have done that or said that or did that, it might have
Yeah.
worked. Like it might have, but it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason.
Right.
But I have to, for me, sit here and take knowledge and be like, okay,
Yeah.
that was probably not
If
good.
my mom can change.
Yeah, and that was
Well,
the biggest thing,
Even my other daughter, Tori, I see her because she's a powerhouse and the way she is with her husband. And I'm like, yesterday we went to lunch and I told her, Tori, bájale dos rayitas, mija. Like, we are the ones who manipulate the whole situation. We can get everything done with our, I love you, baby, Edgar. And if he was sitting right here, I'd be telling you the same thing. I know how to work him. And it's not a good or bad thing. I don't want to fight and argue.
And see, and
It's your balance.
and
It
I'm the
works for you
opposite.
guys.
I'm the total opposite of my mom. My mom's like the nicest person, the most passive aggressive at times. Pero mi mom, but the one that taught me the biggest lesson was my dad. I'll be outside working with my dad in car, like with cars, just to spend time with my dad. Y mi dad siempre me dijo, I'm teaching you to be this way because I don't want you to depend on any man.
Yeah.
It was the opposite. It wasn't my mom. It was my
Did
dad.
your mom depend on him?
Yes. It was a total.
Or but we can
Interesting.
even go further. For your dad's parents, did mom like your grandmother? Did your grandmother depend on grandpa?
So actually, he's my stepdad, but he raised me. He raised me since
Okay.
I was 2.
Okay.
My mom was very independent when she had me because it was just me, my mom, and we lived with my grandma. So
Uh-huh.
my mom she was very strong to do so much and take so much. My mom's like an emotional sponge. She takes, and she's like a little bottle that's about to explode.
She an empath.
She, yeah, but my mom has such grace in her. It's amazing. That's the admirable. But my grandmother was the strong one. It's kind of like, your aunt and everything. My
Yes.
grandmother was the one. Corriato. ¿Cómo la hacía mi abuelita? Que pasaba la troca y agarraba fiado, pero ella le daba comer a todos sus hijos y a sus nietos. Nunca faltaba. But my dad lost his dad when he was 1. So he was raised only by
A woman.
a woman. So that's where that strength
That's where
comes in.
that comes from. too.
Yes. So that's when my dad told me, like, no, and they were so hard on me. Like, honestly, I'm the oldest. They were extremely hard, but I'm
It
very
always
grateful.
happens.
But it's because I was able, my mom always told me, I don't worry about you because you're going to figure it out. You're always going to figure it out. And I did because my dad always told me to figure it out. Like you say,
Yes.
like your husband told you, figure it out. Or you told him, figure it out.
Yes.
Same thing. And my dad taught me that at a very, very young age. Very young age. Okay, figure it out. You don't have this. How even making a sopa. No tienes tomate fresco, get tomato sauce. Get tomato. It's just figure stuff out. So even though my mom's mom was a strong woman, very independent, she did so much. My mom wasn't. My mom was the nice one that always trying to. My mom's just the sweetest person ever. Esa para hacerla enojar, I think only I can push her buttons.
Of course, you're the oldest.
Only I can. I was like, because my brothers don't. My brothers, mi mom, para que le saquen un coraje ellos, no. Pero yo sí puedo.
Yeah,
So
well, it's
la-
not that. It's what you mirror for her.
What you
That can
represent.
trigger it.
See?
You know, it's what you
Y mi
represent your
mom,
life.
my mom is so stubborn. Like, pero mi mom, aunque yo le diga, mom, eso es el otro. Mi mom veces no me hace caso. She's like, sí. And no lo hace. So I had to sit back and be like, I gotta let my mom learn. Kind of like you sit back and let your mom learn.
So, and that's what I love about it because here I am and she's sitting right there.
Uh-huh.
It's Edgar. I'm right there. Gabby's there. And he wants to fight. I feel him
Y ya estás
already.
esperando tú acá. You're like,
Well, no, the weird thing is that when she wasn't there, we were good. We were eating.
So I
todo
tell
bien.
him, no, I tell him, so it's my fault. And then he said, yeah, it's your fault. I mean,
But it's because we're at it, right? And I was like, what is going on? He felt like fighting. So I'm like, something's up. Que trae, you know? But for me, the most important thing was, what is she going to perceive from this? Is she going to see mom say, a ver qué haces y me vale, and being crazy, or funny, like, stop already. This is enough. Let's stop. Passive aggressive, but stop, you know?
Right.
And it brought a lot of joy to my heart that I was able to do that because I felt it. I felt the anger. And then I'm like, calm down. De aquí nadie se va a morir por esto.
Yeah.
You're fine. So then when we went to bed, it was like, good night, everybody. Yeah. Y lo dije, babe, and I kid you not, this is how I talked to him, babe. You were kind of like a little off today. You were mad. Yeah. Digo, but why weren't you mad before? Like, you got mad y querías pelear. Le digo, querías, ¿verdad? And he goes, I saw that. Y lo dice, I don't know. Digo, okay, well, you need to figure it out. Not me, because that's something he's going through. You need to figure that out because this could go an ugly way.
Yeah.
You know, I could have been like, ya bájale, bye. You know, and where are my moms? I don't care where your moms or my moms. I'm gonna
I'm
tell
like that too.
it is what it is, you know? So he's like, you know what? Yeah, let me figure this out porque I did feel it. So I was like, okay, so we have that kind of relationship where I can tell him, I don't know what is going on right there, pero bájale, porque yo no tengo
Figure
nada
it
que
out.
ver con eso.
See, and
No vengas a fregarme a mí porque andas de malas.
And after me losing my son, I tried so hard to not go to sleep angry. And like I said, I'm still working on
Yeah,
it.
me
I'm
too.
not
still working on
perfect.
that.
I'm not
Totally
perfect
working
on
on
it. It
that.
happens. But yes, it's very important because you don't know if they're going to wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, that's one thing I regret so much. I'm like, how is it that I told my son, like, mi son me está tocando yo en el baño cuando él se fue. Yo no lo vi. Pero qué bueno que no lo vi porque después yo me hubiera quedado muy traumada.
Yeah.
You know?
It all-
So
it's-
it all
Everything
happened.
works out. Yes.
But now I do try to work out and say, like, okay, I'm not going to be angry with this person. I'm going to just pray for them. But it's more for me.
Yes, and thank you because that helped me. Now I
Well-
pray and just send her good energy because I know she's going through a lot and she
Oh
has
my
to
God.
process her way. If I agree or not, it's none of my business.
Yeah.
She has to process. There's another son involved that needs a lot of love,
Exactly.
and that comes from mom and dad. I can't even do that. That's them, and I saw myself out of that now, and I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do that.
See, and that's something my children are struggling with. They see mom, my family support and everything, but not dad.
Yeah,
But
that's tough.
but they're learning their boundaries also with their father because I mean I had to kind of be like, you have to understand he's not okay, but that doesn't mean you have to let them yourselves.
Yes, exactly.
You know, so
So now I
Okay.
wanted to share something. Super, super excited about this. Tell me what you think. Let's see if we're on the same page. So I was showering. I know we had a little talk of that. Now let's switch it up a little bit. So I was showering and I was thinking, because Queen Up Now was like in my face all day, every day, 24
It's like zapping you. It's a few weeks
you know
away.
the other events, I would dream of it already.
Yes.
Like, you didn't do this. You didn't. I would wake up like, oh my God, the flight. It was.
I love it.
It was. But anyways.
she loved
um,
the fact that you stressed that you did.
so I was showering the other day and I'm like, okay, Queen Up Now was early in the morning. And I'm thinking, what? And Lorena came to mind. And I'm like, okay, what do you want? What are you trying to tell me? So I want Queen Up Now to be different, you know, and I absolutely know that so do you. And I see it because my mom's invited to a lot of events, right? Like, hey, come here, appearance. And I know they're doing her, you know, the good deed of you can come and have exposure. But monetary, it's not there, right? You're just showing up and you get to tell your little story and yada, 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 which is,
It's
we're-
great exposure,
We're grateful,
but-
great exposure. But I was thinking, because Queen Up Now wants to be different. And we're having now Ms. Lorena come and help us, and we all love her. And it was
She's
telling me
amazing.
that she needs to be paid for this event. Like, she absolutely needs to receive monetary, because I think it's not even the money. It
Yeah,
has
it's
nothing
not
to
the
do with it.
money.
It has to do with the exchange
The
of
value
the
that she's
exchange
gonna
of
feel.
energy, the value. And I felt like they were telling me, like, she needs this. I don't care where I swear this is how it was said to me. I don't care where you got to cut. I don't care if you got to cut. I don't care if you don't get nothing. Literally, that's how it was told to me. Even if you don't get nothing, Abby, it needs to be given
I
to
love
her. And I was
this.
like,
Because she's gonna
Okay.
she's gonna say something important that's gonna click to every person that's
Yes.
up in that room.
And what
And that's
connected,
important.
she's telling me this, right? And I'm like, you're not. The day before, I said, I need to see myself out of the spotlight. I need her to be the keynote speaker. And I didn't want to tell her because I've said it last year, the year before. And she's like, no, mom, you need to do this. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, got this. So I didn't want to tell her, but she tells me that. And then I'm like, oh my, that's how connected we are because Lorena helps people.
Yes.
I'm not saying I don't. We do it in a different capacity. People never pay us to go speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
She deserves it. And then it's so funny because yesterday my husband says, what did he say? Today or yesterday?
it was yesterday. when we were
Yesterday
talking.
he says, why are you going to pay
No,
her?
he didn't
or
say why. He
something.
just said, who's ever paid you? That's
Oh.
what he didn't say why pay her. He
Sí,
just said,
sí, me
who's ever
caló.
paid you?
Porque me dijo, "And who's ever paid you?" I know where he was going with this.
He's the, what do we call him? The
He's a Hummager.
What do we call him?
Hum
Hummager.
manager.
And I understand that. As a husband,
Yo no sé. No.
as a husband, it's like, okay, I don't see my wife, I don't do this, and then,
Pues it's
and then you
hard
don't
on
get
him.
paid.
And then you don't get paid. Pues, but when he said that, I told him, I said, and that's why I need to be different. Si yo hago las cosas diferente con la gente, people are going to switch and say, she needs to get paid.
Pero-
People will do what you do, not what you
Una
say.
bendición se te va a multiplicar más.
Yes.
So
Always.
she doesn't know this, so we're super excited when we get to tell her.
We're just going to give her the check.
I was gonna
Sweet.
say, oh, like in a little gift or something.
No, next week we're gonna like literally Queen Up Now check. Oh my god, I get excited for that 'cause that's like we're gonna have our fairs, and then she doesn't know either that we're gonna switch roles, and we took Victoria off my mom, which I'm not gonna say it was hard for me, but because Well, our goal is,
Right.
we push.
Yes.
I don't even say mom. I just, when all this happens, it's Victoria. We're pushing here, Victoria. But now when she brought it up, I'm like, I agreed with her. Like, we're bringing her in as the keynote speaker of
Yes.
Queen Up Now.
She
She
deserves
is
that.
literally going to be now the face of this event, of our
And the
event.
beautiful part about this is that you're going to be teaching not just myself, but everybody else. Like, okay, we value what you do. We
Yes.
value you as a woman. And look at how important you've been, not just in my life, but everybody else who comes and listens to you. Because even the last event that you invited me to, I wasn't sure what I was expecting. And when she spoke, I'm like, oh, I literally open my faucet in the mornings and I'm trying this 21 days. And then I forget. I'm like, okay, I got to reset it. But like to the point where like at first I was like saying all these like, these feelings that I wanted to go down the drain. Eventually by like the 7th day, I'm like, I have no more to say. Like they're just repetitive.
And
But-
that's, oh my God. You see what I mean? She saw her at an event. And that event that I went to, because I was supposed to get 20 minutes to speak. They cut it. They made me go down when we did it downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
I was so off that day. And I was like, what's going on? The lady, esta muchacha de Empower You, she me habló y me dijo, Victoria, perdóname, discúlpame, yo no quería que pasara así, es que todo pasa. Le dije, it doesn't matter. Le dije, ¿sabe lo que me interesa a mí? Le dije, I'm not going to get mad if things don't
Exactly.
go my way because I have to let it go. Le dije, ¿sabe lo que me ayudó a mí? Que todas las muchachas estaban allí aprendiendo de
Exactly.
todas. Le dije, fue o no fue, it doesn't matter. Everything worked out the way it was supposed to be. She was like, okay, gracias, Victoria. Le dije, no, this has nothing to do with Victoria, with Gabby, with Esmeralda, who you are going to reach a lot of women that I cannot reach.
Exactly.
Gabby reaches women that I cannot
Or I
reach
can't.
because of her age. Pero if we all come collectively, all of us women come and share our stories because we all have a story to share. How is that not going to change El Paso, our community, then El Paso, then Las Cruces, then it's going to go worldwide where they're like,
See-
she went through a lot and she's still
You
standing.
should see. You should. My story is it's crazy, right? Tell you like it's like you're gonna be like, what?
And
What?
that's what we want.
I'm going to buy a ticket to the event because I want to
hear her
I want
story.
to hear her story in detail more.
So we're going to start with the Prepare for 2025 because
Okay.
October is, when people start doing their dream boards in December, you're already late.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but you're because I've been in sales forever.
Mhm.
So if you're like, oh, next year, I'm going to be my best year and it's already October and you're not doubling your production, you're already late. It's not going to happen, So to me, that's important. 2025 starts now.
Yes.
And that's how it starts. Go through it again with us, just what we're going to do.
Oh, well, we already have it. So we're going to open our doors at 5.
5.
Speakers will be there. Okay. 5:45. We go on. We'll do that switch. And we're going to do your story maybe first, or Erin, our other amazing storyteller. Then we'll have Lorena. We're going to give her a little bit more time because I think she's going to need a little
Yes.
time to hit all that.
I have a feeling she's gonna touch certain subjects she did not think she was gonna do that day.
Oh,
After listening to what she's gonna listen to us.
I think if I just get the motivation,
yes, which is the
and then the letter, I can do that in 15 minutes or less.
So-
And give them a little bit more time too.
And we do a lot of raffles. So in between, we'll always have the raffles going. So Lorena will go in. It's because the notebook. I forgot that other notebook where I
You
have the
forgot your
times.
life.
I forgot my life. It's because last night we were doing this on the table. Then I closed it, and I was supposed to go home last night, which I currently live in Juarez.
In Juarez.
And then I said, wait. She told me, if you leave and you're not here on time, we're gonna have a problem. And I was like, shoot. Should I go? Should I not? And then I call my husband and I'm like, babe, he goes, babe, just stay. Because you never know. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to stay. But then I call my dad and I'm like, hey, Dad, where are you? He goes, oh, we just got to your grandma's house and all your tios are here. And it was like 11. And I'm like, I'm on my way. And then I'm like, should I go? And he said, no. Yeah. Adulting. I went back. I laid down.
And
to get a
you
little
did
bit.
adults.
So I left my
Where is
notebook
the
there on the table. Where I was watching the Toxicos arguing yesterday.
That's like a tit for tat.
No, they're my I watched them and I'm like,
You're like, this is my lesson of what not to do.
Sometimes it's the what not to do, and then sometimes I get a lot of the what to do. Yes, because see, my husband doesn't talk. What I know about Edgar is that sea lo que sea, with everything he's done, his healing, he's flexible and he'll listen.
And it's important.
He'll listen to it. you
Yeah,
know?
and it is important. Like you said, he doesn't talk, but it's important to talk because then when we hold our emotions, that's when our bodies get sick.
Oh no, he learned how to
to express
let it
it.
go, how to express himself with me now.
So,
Ahora ya no. He's
I can text you we're gonna get all
The
that done.
itinerary.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
this week we should have our itinerary down and even our pamphlets ready to be printed.
Oh, nice.
This is what we're gonna focus on today. But you since you want all the help.
yes.
This is our flyer.
You're like, I'm not working today. You got me today.
So we're gonna go around
also,
town. Monday.
Super important. Like we have Macy's as a sponsor, Topshop Body and Paint, Zia Homes. As a matter of fact, one of the they've always sponsored us. Lancome and Schneider Electric.
Okay.
So what we are gonna do though is we need
Yes.
for you. We're gonna send you a flyer. We need you to start posting on social media immediately.
Okay.
Like everybody
Invite your
start
people.
tagging all your girlfriends.
Are you gonna put like when you asking for the headshots and stuff, or of the speakers that are gonna be showing up there?
We're gonna work on
Even if you
one
have
of those.
one of your favorite.
I sent it to you
pictures?
already. I think there was
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I said only got the logo, not a picture. Send me
I sent them both.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'm sure you have it, but our
Nice.
Queen Up Now person she's running behind.
It's because she got a job.
She has a job too.
Well, I mean, I do real estate full time. I have a husband, 2 daughters, grandkids. I help at the shop every
I know
once in
la
a
otra
while.
andaba
You
en
are full of
Mickey
blessings.
Mouse. I sound like, oh, she was at
I
Mickey
went
Mouse.
to the Mickey Mouse event with my other grandson. Like, I have a lot going on. And sometimes, like the other day, I was
Qué bonito no puede decir eso. O sea,
Yeah, but I was ready. That day I was in my car and I was like crying because I was eating a sandwich porque no tenía ni tiempo de comer. So I'm eating a sandwich and then I'm like, why do I do this to her? And then I was just crying. And then I'm like, oh, I just needed to let it out. I was like, that's it. Yeah, I was like, I'm back.
Everything is so like. Tell me how crazy this is. Okay, let me tell you what. Tell me if this is not as. You're probably no. She's probably gonna be like, oh, that's so cool. Because other people,
I don't know.
I tell them, they're like, what? So
Let's
my
see.
mom
I was like, bring
has
it.
her husband, right?
Yeah.
And I have my dad, and he has his wife, his wife, and so when I was little, my parents got divorced. I was very young. I don't even ever remember seeing them together. I see pictures, and I'm like, that's weird.
You're like, that never happened.
Yeah, like that looks so weird.
It's like you're like that photoshopped.
Yes. So my mom's like, I don't have nowhere to stay, and blah, blah, blah. And my dad is in Mexico. He went to Michoacan. So my stepmom has a lot of ¿cómo se dice? Huertas de aguacate, or a lot of avocado trees. So they have to go out there and do a lot. And my dad likes it, and they're retired, so they think they're cool and they can do whatever they want. They don't help me with the grandkids because they're over there doing aguacates. But anyways, just kidding. So my dad's in Mexico and he leaves me the key to the house because my job is super close to his house. So I stop by and eat lunch or whatever. And my mom calls me and she's like, well, I don't have nowhere to stay. And then she said, did my dad offer or
No, Marbella. I didn't want to stay at the Airbnb we were staying anymore. I was done at that Airbnb. It was an energy thing for me. So I told Edgar, I said, either we stay at your mom's, my mom's, or we're going to go with Victor Marbella because Marbella texts me and she goes,
which is my stepmom. Okay?
the stepmom.
Is she the one that went to the event?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, she's nice. I met her.
Yes. So she said, Vicky, si se quieren quedar aquí, you're more than welcome to. And I was like, so I called Tori first because Tori's more open, right? And I'm like, Tori, do you think that's weird? Because I'm okay with that. She goes, Mom, she's your friend. No. So then I tell Gabby, and then and she's like, I'm already used to it.
Well, she
Weirdos.
calls me and she's like, well, we're going to stay at your dad's. And I was like,
You're like, wait a minute,
I
what?
remember I was on the phone, and it's not because it's weird. I'm not weirded out for it. I had to process it. Like, so I'm thinking, I'm like, okay. She goes, do you think that's weird? And I'm like, well, no, not really. I don't think it's weird because it's almost
We're
like
together all the
we're
time.
always
But
together.
I do know that feeling because when you went upstairs that we ordered your tea because you were getting ready, she was explaining to me how she was your ex's wife.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, what?
What?
And I was
Well,
like,
it wasn't like this all the time. The primero no nos.
Well, no,
aguantaba,
but this one was always because my dad was previously married, and
Uh-huh.
I know I mean, I don't know now. I don't, and it's too late to know. But I know that this could have never happened.
Did you-
in that time?
Did you sleep on their bed?
No. Oh, okay, that was funny.
Not one. I didn't even think that.
That would be my God. That would have been weird. Like, so weird.
I didn't even think of that.
But it was so funny though, because it's because I see Victor. I mean, she's 37. We weren't together for 36 years. So when I tell people, like even Tori's dad, I see them like brothers. I know everybody's like, no, there's nothing.
But you know what? That's what people don't understand, because what was done, the lesson was done, and that's it. Now you transition and become friends, and it's just so peaceful. That's what.
And then the wife, I really do.
Well,
I
it
give
does
her
take,
credit.
no, but it takes
work.
It's not even just the parents. And that's why I tell, my mom and dad, they're just,
We always tell
Look,
now when he can.
yeah,
talk outside.
now I can look back, and now when I look at it, I'm like, I am blessed. Like, seriously, I'm blessed. But where I give most of the credit is the partner.
Yes.
Because for this to happen, it has to be okay with Edgar,
Yes.
and it has to be okay with Marbella. Because if not, there's no way. Like, if it's weird for them, this couldn't happen.
So I sold them their house. Por eso te digo todo.
Yes.
And Edgar has been very good. So Edgar and Victor, Edgar's my husband, Victor is el papá de Gabby. They have very similar personalities.
You have a
Like,
type?
they get-
I don't have a type, Victoria.
No, I swear, like they literally, I could see them going fishing together, sitting there talking, like.
And you know what? This is something that cleanup has. I think this is such a good thing, because females need to learn how to not be jealous of each other, but appreciate and become friends and overcome certain things. Like, you know what? Tú estás con okay, yo ya hice lo que tenía que hacer, ahora pues
Lo
like,
que fue.
now you're listening, good for you. But then that's just a
Well,
perfect
and in this
example for
case,
that.
it's because there's kids. Because I believe, like, if I didn't exist in the equation, then
Well,
there's
no,
no
there's
reason,
nothing
right?
in common. There's a common.
For me, what I appreciate from them, because at the beginning, when they first moved out to El Paso, it was kind of like, because my
Awkward.
dad didn't live here. So he left since I was very young to California. His job took him out there. And it was like he was coming back. And that was a process for me, because it was like,
Yes.
okay, my dad hasn't been here for years. And wait, he's coming back? Like, wait, what? So I thought it was going to be weird. Like he's going to be at a phone call away, or I could drive to his house. Like, whoa. So even that was a process. Like, my husband would be like, but that's a good thing. I'm like, I'm not saying it's not. It's just different. I'm used to, it was like a long distance relationship with that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and it's
saw
because your
once-
parents forgave each other, and that's why they were over to overcome whatever was in between, and more for the peace and love for you. And I think females need to have this, but not just for the partners, but with each other. Like, instead of us being so hateful, like, ay, mira cómo está, mira, ay, que se lo tra-" like, ay, qué
Well, that
bonito.
is what ruins everything. And
Yes.
this is like, and I'm telling you, because when I met Edgar, I reached out to his ex-wife, because to me that's normal. Like, I'm with your children all day because
To
they
stay at
stay
their
with
house,
you.
Didn't you
half
wanna
an
know
hour
about
ago.
me?
Won't you want to know about me? And she again, she
And
was like,
mine is I
No.
understand it's hard for the adults, but my biggest thing is like thinking
They are
of the
the
children,
kids.
because they alleviated so much of me.
yes,
Because for me, it wasn't like, okay, Christmas, because my sister's not on the same boat. Hers is, Mom, I have to go with my dad this year because he's mad. No, wait, my dad said for Thanksgiving he wants me there at 5. And it's like,
if we
for
all
her,
hung out, it would be perfect.
it's so stressful for her, and I feel for her. And then second, not just me now, my kids, like my 3 boys, there's no like grandma, no. It's just, they already know. It's grandma, Edgar, grandpa, and Marbella. Like my
It's
little one,
beautiful.
the little one, because Marbella's a lot smaller, like that's grandma too. He calls her grandma mi bebe. He can't say Marbella, mi bebé, but then again, he's a little sucker, and he likes to
Play on them to get.
play on them,
Toys
get
and
everything he
candy.
can out of them. Even though he get with my mom, but
I'm over here thinking, with the inflation, el cost de los avocados, pues sí, o sea, dame un aguacate.
so for me, that is the biggest thing where I'm appreciative, where I'm like, my kids they don't understand, like
Right.
they don't see the
The
difference.
fighting,
they
the
don't see the
arguing,
fight
none
under
of
the
that.
crap. We just like, cool. But I was laughing, and I called my mom like, isn't this crazy? So this is why. Watch what you say, because life gives you whatever you want.
Yes.
So since I was little, every birthday candle, you know how they tell you, make a wish. And Gabby, every year, I don't even know when I stopped. I probably like I want to say like 12, 13. I'm going to say I would always, my wish was for my mom and dad to be together. My mom and dad to be together.
Oh, okay.
And I tell my mom, like, I wasn't very specific, Mom, because now you guys are back. We're all together, but different partners and this, and now you're staying at my dad's house, and I'm like,
It was your inner peace.
you know, and I love it. Like, I don't even want to use a word weird, but for other people to understand, I'm like, it is a
People
little
can't.
weird.
They
Yo
don't
sí,
get
yo sí.
Es
Te
a
digo
little
que
too-
yo cuando hablé con ella, me quedé like, wait, what? And like, seemed like, I was like, and I said, how weird. But then like later she was explaining to me, like, I was like, well, that's good. I was like, you know what, that's great. Because she even knew like the first thing she said is, ask for tea with no sugar. So apparently she knows what your mom drinks and what
Isn't
she
that
eats.
crazy?
And then they told her like, well, no, we don't have it. She's like, well, then bring her a water. You know, like, so.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Look,
See?
check this, and I think it's great because Tori's stepmom, when she came to El Paso with my ex-husband,
Mhm.
girl, I had a talk with her, and I told her, she was outside, y luego le digo, so she goes into my house, y can look, a mí tu esposo no me interesa. Yo lo que me interesa es mi hija. I want us to be good.
Mhm.
We were good for a long time. We had a baby shower for her. Invited my friends, make her feel at
Family.
home. But I don't know what happened in between where now is like they don't want to hang out. And not that we're gonna hang out, but I have two grandkids that
Yeah.
love us both.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we do this together? I don't care about your husband. You don't care about me. It's about the kids.
Right.
And to me, imagine Christmas, everybody there and all the kids there, all the gifts they would get, all the fun they would. Who cares if we're different? I don't care. Like, do you do you. That's all that
Remember, I told you
matters.
that one lesson my son gave me is like, people are who they are. Let them be.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Let them be. There's just some things we just can't.
Yeah,
change.
we
We
can't
had to learn
change.
that also.
Yeah.
And it's small, but that's what it is. So, but I'm super excited. I'm
So
glad
am I.
you're here.
I wanted her to meet you, and I said, once you meet her, you're gonna understand because I don't think it's just Queen Up. I know we're gonna do big things, and
Together.
I'm
me,
excited.
In El Paso, for me, like, girl, my book, I'm gonna start going full force because I've already had 4 or 5 people. I used to think it was like crappy. I'm like, it's not gonna help people, and me doing it to myself. And now when I get messages, I read it. Thank you. This girl, when we went to Snyder Electric, she started reading the first chapter. She comes back. Thank you. These I can't. Oh my God, thank you. And I'm like, wow. Okay. So I'm full force, girl. I love
read
real
it.
estate, but
I
full
read
force.
it and I'm still processing.
I'm ready for us to go shows, not just local, but national.
Yes.
Like,
Vamos
big.
con todo. And there you.
But thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
It really
Thank
was.
you.
And thank you for
Thank you for
sharing
having
it. And
me.
I'm excited to hear the rest of it.
We need to put.
You're gonna freak out. You'll be like,
You're gonna be like, what?
I want to get more of those because
We will. We're
they-
just making a few
so we
little
can put them in
adjustments.
businesses that you know.
okay,
That's
so
what we're gonna be doing
Yes.
today.
yes, just pass them over so I can put them, and then I'll put them on my pages as well.
Yes.
We're
thank you
super
so much.
excited.
Yes.
Vamos con todo. Look, this was last year's.
Oh yeah.